So, Miss, you ready, Miss Rosser?
I am.
Okay.
I didn't know if you had an introduction or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just do that real briefly.
Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, thank you to all that's with us, and to all of you who may view this at a later date. My name is Willie Hardy. I'm the Director of Student Support Services. We also have Ms. Donna Cooper, who is our retention specialist. We have Ms. LaQuana Sledge, who is one of our student development advisors. And I think Ms. Zolikofer may be on here, or she's on her way, but she's our other student development advisor, and we are student support services. So today we're here to start our year off, our academic year, to start on September 1 with our very first workshop, which is Taming Your Test Anxiety. And this will be facilitated by the Director of Counseling, Ms. Charice Rosser. So we want to go ahead and thank her in advance for agreeing to do this, present this information to us today. And with that being said, Ms. Rosser, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hardy, for that warm introduction. I really and sincerely appreciate partnering with you and your team to ensure that our students are fully equipped for their professional journey here at Halifax Community College. My name is Charice Rosser, and I am the Director of Counseling and Academic Success here at Halifax Community College. And today we're going to talk about a topic that many students asking about is, how do I tame my testing anxiety? First, we want to discuss and find out, what is test anxiety? Hold on, let me see. It's going. Can y'all see? Can y'all see that? Okay. All right. Now, I like to be engaged. So if you like to talk, that you can talk, you can ask questions, you can make comments. So we're all adults, so I want to have as much participation in this as possible. So when you say test anxiety is a psychological condition in which people experience extreme distress. Distress is negative stress and anxiety in testing situations. Okay. It could be so overwhelming that it can actually impair your learning and have an impact on your testing performance. What causes anxiety? Okay. Anxiety in testing conditions is the fear of failure, the lack of preparation, and poor test history. Okay. Just the fear of not doing well. Failure for some people can be extremely devastating. Lack of preparation, meaning waiting to the last minute, cramming, not doing your assignments on time, not being prepared. Poor testing history. If you don't like taking tests, and you may know the material, but your brain freeze, 9 times out of 10, you may struggle with testing anxiety. Some symptoms of testing anxiety: you got physical symptoms, you have emotional symptoms, and you have behavioral and cognitive symptoms. Physical symptoms can be nausea, sweating, lightheadedness. It can actually lead to a panic attack. Okay. I've had situations where students testing anxiety got the best of them to the point where they had to leave the testing site due to the anxiety. Emotional symptoms, feelings of fear, helplessness, anxiety, depression, all of those different things are symptoms of testing anxiety, as well as difficulty concentrating and staying focused. Who is likely to have test anxiety? People who have a history of anxiety. Okay, some people are more naturally anxious than others. These are traits that you naturally may have inherited, maybe a part of your personality. And so in a testing situation, your anxiety could really could be overwhelming. Also, students who are prepared for tests and who aren't prepared for tests, they feel unprepared, and then at times that can have an impact of their sleep, like the night before. If they're not prepared, falling asleep could be a difficult task, because in the back of their mind, they're thinking that they're not going to do well. So sleeping, you may lose appetite. There are a lot of different things that you may have as far as symptom wise. Who's likely to have it? How do you know if you have testing anxiety? Here's a couple of symptoms that you may have if you can't sleep well before the night before. If you feel like you're going to run out of time taking the test, if you blank out during the test. So these are a couple of questions that you can ask yourself. And if you have 5 or more of these characteristics or attributes, 9 times out of 10, you may be struggling or struggling with test anxiety. And this is what we're going to address today. How does testing anxiety affect you? Anxiety may cause you to have physiological, behavioral, or either psychological effect. Physiological, you may have knots in your stomach, sweating, headaches. Behavioral, indecisive about an answer, you may just go blank. Psychological, feelings of nervousness, restlessness, doubting yourself. All of those things can impact you while you're taking the test. So what we're going to talk about now is what to do before the test, okay? Because one of the problems is not being prepared. So we're going to talk about preparation. Give yourself time to review the material, okay? Start early. Start in the beginning of the semester as far as preparing yourself, and take small bits of the information at a time. All right? Building a relationship with your instructor and staff here at Halifax Community College is extremely important. And building that relationship with your instructor, you can ask them questions during the test time, or you can meet with them during office hours and ask them questions. You can ask them the format of the test, okay? Is it going to be multiple choice? If it's going to be fill in the blank, true or false? You can also ask your instructor how long the test will be. So if it's going to be 100 multiple choice questions or 25, that will kind of give you an idea of how to manage yourself. If there's going to be a time limit, ask all of these different questions. Also ask if there's a study guide, okay? And as well as to see if that instructor is offering review sessions, because depending on that instructor, you may could say, hey, is it a time that we can meet during our office hours to review some of the material? And then you could possibly start a collaborative learning approach as far as you studying for that test, because it's going to be extremely important. Also, make a list of topics, chapters, and materials that's on the exam. Write down all the formulas, different definitions that will help you remember and retain the information, okay? Some other things that you can do before taking the test is make flashcards, do outlines, drawings. All of these are different approaches depending on your learning style. You know, for my tactile learners, making flashcards, writing the material out works. For my auditory learners, listening to different music, or actually listening to different videos, that works as well, okay? Another thing is, whatever your instructor pays attention, spend a lot of time on in that classroom, on that particular subject, assume that it's going to be on that test, because that is an area of information that they really truly want you to learn and to be able to apply. So if they spend a lot of time in a particular chapter, take note of that, because that is going to play a big role as far as your testing performance. Whatever you do, okay, and I know we have a lot of distractions, but do not procrastinate. Procrastination can really, 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 really have an impact on your anxiety, because for one, in the back of your mind, you know you're not really prepared, and you have to rush to kind of remember all of this information, and it can be extremely overwhelming at times, okay? Another thing you could do before the test is test yourself on the material. You know, if you have a partner or a family member, kind of, you know, be able to see if you can elaborate on that subject. Make test questions. Sometimes they have Quizlets. Quizlets is another instrument that you could use to prepare for the test. The night before the exams, gather any materials that you may need. In the morning time, you never know how it's going to go, okay? So I always recommend students, whatever you're going to wear the next day, whatever you're going to need the next day for that test, you gather all those things the night before. So when you get up, you just only have to do your personal hygiene and get yourself together and come to class. Mm-hmm. But if you have to pick out what you want to wear, you have to find your calculator, your book bag is in the car, but you're looking around in the house, you can waste a lot of time, which can cause a lot of anxiety, because you're not in the back of your mind. You could be thinking, oh my God, I got a test and I'm already running behind. So the night before, just get prepared the night before. Again, avoid cramming. Cramming is a cocktail for anxiety to the T, times 1,000. Because you have to remember so much information at the very, 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 very last minute, and your mind can actually go blank because your brain can't process and organize the information. So just be careful. Sincerely, I sincerely mean that. Be careful about cramming. Avoid it at all costs. All right. Another thing you could do before the test is eat a healthy breakfast, okay? Don't go up in there, first of all, hungry, because if, as a human being, if you're hungry, your attention is, your main thing is going to be food, okay? So make sure that that you're well hydrated, because your brain is made of primarily water. So if you drink a lot of water, your brain will be well hydrated. And when you're hydrated, you can think clearer. Eat plenty of fruits, vegetables, things like oatmeal, those hearty foods that will be good for you and provide you the energy and the brain power that you need in order to do well. Another thing is be on time or early, okay? When you're coming into a testing situation and you're late, you're going to be disrupting other students. Then you have to get situated, and it's going to be disruptive to the other students, and that can impact testing performance for the entire class. So I highly recommend that you get there early, but at least be on time, okay? Everybody has different feelings as far as it pertains to testing. So one thing I recommend is don't talk to other students about the exam, because somebody may come to you and say, oh my God, I was up all night, I couldn't remember. That's going to cause you more anxiety. And then, or you may talk to someone else and they may be saying, oh, I got this, I'm gonna make 100 on it. And you're not prepared, you know, it can have an impact on your self-confidence. And your self-confidence is going to be very, 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 very important, because that is what motivates you to get whatever you need to get done, okay? So please be mindful about that. Now we're going to talk about what to do during the test. Read the directions carefully, okay? Sometimes on some exams and some tests, the instructor may have specific things in the directions of the test, and if you don't do it verbatim, you could lose points just by not following directions, okay? So make sure that you follow the directions of the instructor as well as what they put on the test. Pace yourself and budget your time, okay? Avoid looking at the clock. Sometimes looking at the clock, can put a lot of pressure on you. Just focus on the test, okay? If you blank on a question, skip over it. Sometimes going to another question may trigger the answers that you need for that particular question that you may go blank on, okay? If others are turning in tests, don't panic. I've been in situations where I'm the last one to finish testing. People may have gone. Don't allow that people are finished early or before you to discourage you, because it's not a contest going on as far as who will finish the test first. So just stay focused. Always when you're taking a test, relax and breathe and don't think about fear, okay? Fear of failing. Stay in the moment and do your best, okay? We're going to talk about now what to do after the test. This might sound a little strange, but it is what it is. Forget about it. After you take that test, let it go. It's over. Go home and relax. Don't dwell on if you passed or failed, because, until you get the answer, don't talk to other people about your exams and what answer did you get for this or what answer you get for that. Worrying about the answer after the test, it only contributes to your anxiety, because if your number 25 or 26 was different from someone else, your mind can go into overthinking mode, and then it's no point at that point, okay? Treat yourself, all right? Being a student, you have to reward yourself because you're making a lot of sacrifices and adjustments to your life, especially if you are a working adult, balancing that time as far as your family and responsibilities, going to school, and if you're working those requirements, treat yourself. It's okay to just have a relaxing day where you actually don't do anything. It really, truly is okay. All right. What can you do about testing anxiety? The mind, all right, is a powerful tool that may work for you or against you. All right. Your mind could be your best friend or your worst enemy. Test anxiety can be controlled with an attitude adjustment. All right. How you feel, your attitude about testing, all those things can be adjusted. Visualizing success can take you a long way. So I use the example, if your goal is to become a nurse, okay, and you're taking different classes leading towards nursing, you may not like that math class or that biology class that you're taking, but visualizing your success in that field that you're working towards will help give you that self-motivation and encouragement to do it. Because if you need to take anatomy and physiology and math 143 and all these other courses to get to become a nurse, it's worth that, because you're going to need all those courses in order to be a successful nurse. If you tell yourself you can't succeed, you won't. All right. You can't let nobody talk you in. And that means yourself as well, because sometimes we can talk ourselves into defeat. You have to master encouraging and motivating yourself, because that is going to be a part of what you do in a professional setting as well. Okay. If you tell yourself you can succeed and do well, you will. Start by preparing before, during, and after an exam. All right, tips for taming your test anxiety. Going right back to the beginning, be prepared. All right, being prepared starts by developing good study habits. Some things I recommend is study at least a week or two before the exam in smaller increments over time. Okay, develop good test taking skills. Read the directions carefully. Answer the questions you know first, and then return back to the difficult questions. Attitude is important. Maintain a positive attitude, because there is no benefit into negative thinking. If I'm going to, this thing is hard, I'm not going to get this. Your mindset while taking that test is going to perform on that level, okay? So you have to motivate yourself and stop the stinking thinking. Stay focused. Concentrate on the test, not other students. All right, don't talk to other students while you're taking the test. Also, I recommend that you practice relaxation techniques, okay? Breathing techniques. If you find yourself getting tense, one thing that I like to do is I like to rub my neck, because when I'm stressed, I feel it in the back of my neck. If you have to give yourself a quick little massage or rub down to kind of relax yourself, take deep breaths. All of those things are extremely important. And relaxing yourself is when you're relaxed, you can think clearer. Also, stay healthy, get your rest. If you're coming in taking a test and you've only functioned off of 2 or 3 hours of sleep, you're full of McDonald's, you're not hydrated, it's going to be more difficult. Not to say you won't do well, but it's going to be more difficult because your brain is not going to be well rested. You're going to be physically tired. As far as your nourishment, you're not going to have the proper nutrients to perform physically and mentally. And it can have an impact on you in the classroom as well in the testing. And of course, you can visit the counseling center. Okay. If you have a history of anxiety, I can work with you on that and work with you as an individual, because the anxiety presents itself differently in everyone. Okay. For me, anxiety it shuts down. Okay. I shut down when my anxiety kicks in. For some people, their brain may ramble. They may be thinking about other things, and their ability to stay focused may be different. All right. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Let me check the chat box right quick, because I see nothing in the chat box.
So right now, Ms. Rosser, I think that we only had one student. I don't know if anybody else showed up, because I minimized my
okay,
my screen screen that shows the video, so we can see all of the presentation on the recording. But I don't see anyone else. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's 2.
Oh, it's 2. Okay, I see. Oh, Miss Taylor. Oh, is that a Mr. Taylor? Is that Mr. Taylor? Evan. Okay.
Evan Taylor.
Okay. So good. Yeah, if you have any questions, we'd like to say, if you don't have any questions, I think this was very thorough.
I
Miss.
wish that we could, because I had stress balls for the students and everything.
Yeah,
Because that helps out, for the
yeah,
tactile.
yeah,
And I can give y'all some for those ones if y'all want to give them out to the students, because y'all colors are red and white. And so I thought
yeah,
these would be great compliments for y'all.
yeah. I think it was very thorough, and you basically checked all of the boxes. Everything that I've seen on test anxiety. You checked all of the boxes, even from personal experiences. I think on the last one, I commented that my routine was always to eat breakfast. First of all, study. Study, because I have went in the test and studied. I went in the test and not studied. So I mean, I think that's the only way you can get a true experience on from both sides. And I know when I was in school, high school, that was a routine in my household. We had a test, standardized test that morning. It was, we studied kind of whatever the study sheet was that teacher provided, and but not starting the night before, a week or two, like you said, and then breakfast, a nice breakfast. My mom would always cook us a nice breakfast in the morning, and affirmations always. We might do a little bit of quizzing at the table, something like that. But that showed me that when I got to college, same type of routine I kept, and it worked out pretty good. So it definitely minimized the anxiety. You go into a test, in my opinion, and you haven't studied, you're gonna have some anxiety anyway. But all these other tips was great too as well. Miss Rosser, I actually had a sheet with some of those things on down, but you covered everything. You checked all the boxes. So
well, thank you, Mr. Hardy. It's always a pleasure. But next time we got to figure out what's going on, because the person ones, I had some activities and everything planned on to do with that too. So
we will. And
this is always good. This is always good.
Yes. And I'll make sure the next time to check that room out prior to. I had no reason to think that something was wrong, but we were in there this morning and had some issues too. So but I will try to make sure that we all the technical equipment is good to go for the presentations. But yeah,
I also like to reiterate too that because many of our students are at a community college setting, and many of the students that you serve are looking to transfer to different colleges and universities that could lead to their master's degree, their PhDs, their doctoral degrees. And if they could learn these skills now at the beginning of their professional journey, it is going to take them a long way. And the reason why I really want to stress and iterate that is because I didn't realize that I had testing anxiety in school. I didn't know it. I always felt like it was a couple. It came with it. And when you automatically assume that things come together, you may not be prepared for that. And so I wish that when I was in grade school and high school and college, I had access to this type of knowledge and information, because I know it would have helped me out much more than finding out the hard way. And when you create opportunities like this for our next generation of leaders and people that's going to be taking over the world in the next few years, we got to give them those nuggets as they move forward in their professional and personal lives. Because testing anxiety, if you're going into law, becoming a lawyer, you're going to take the bar exam. If you're going to become nursing, you'll have to take that nursing big exams, those state board certified. If you're in the dental hygiene program, all of these programs that we offer here, as well as if you transfer to a college or university, you have to be prepared for testing it. That is a part of education. And the better equipped and prepared you are, the better your experience will be, and the better your transcript's going to look as well as you move forward as far as with your jobs, because Ms. Zolikoff or Mr. Hardy, in order to get these jobs, we had to provide them with our transcript. And so, you know, and if your transcript didn't look that well, it may have an impact on you getting a job or not. So it's those things that we don't have a lot of dialogue about, that we need, you know, it's an opportunity for us to learn more about those things. So thank you, Mr. Hardy and Student Support Services team, for allowing me to provide this information to our students. And I look forward to doing the next workshop, which is going to be next month.
Yeah, it is. Yep, October the 11th.
October the 11th.
Yeah, all right. And we look
also
forward
on
to
the 28th of this month, I'm going to be doing an event in the Pirate Palace. I'm going to have different colleagues talking about roommates, going to college. We talk about the academic side, but we don't talk about the student life side. And roommates can have a huge impact, and you got to be prepared for that. So I have a couple of colleagues, and I haven't finished reaching out to everybody, but I'm going to have individuals that attended a predominantly white university. I'm also going to have individuals who attended a historically black college or university, and they're going to share their experiences as far as, you know, roommates, their experiences from a culture. So please encourage your students to participate in this, especially our early college students, juniors and seniors, because they're going to be going off to, they're going to be leaving in the next few months, and this could, you know, be beneficial for them as well. That's going to be on the 28th of this month at 12 o'clock, but I'm gonna send that information out to everyone.
Yeah, and is that gonna be on Zoom, or is that gonna be
that's gonna be face to face? That's gonna be in the power. It's gonna be during lunch, during the lunchtime when everybody's in there. We're gonna have a couple of people, and it's gonna so you welcome to this could be,
that's
make
good.
this a family affair.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I think that's good, and I think that could lead to other conversations.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We used to do when I used to do the residential part of Upward Bound. We used to take time after like lunch or so, between lunch. After dinner, and we would sit with the students, the advisors, and we would just sit around and share experiences about college. And it was pretty candid. You know what I mean? It was pretty candid. And we did that to highlight certain pitfalls, certain things to look out for, and you know, things like you giving that advice. So, you know, but it didn't just cover, you know, like you say, the academic side. It was the student life side too. So I think that's
I was an RA of a freshman dorm, and I have stories. And I've actually seen it where people quit school behind a roommate. Okay, or they transfer or they leave because the conflict got so overwhelming. And many times people weren't prepared. Okay, they wasn't prepared. You may have a roommate that's dirty. You may have a roommate that love to have company in and out the room, and you may be a private person. All of those different things, and be prepared how you can communicate those things to your roommate where it is not where y'all doing a fight video. Because I've seen those fight videos where college roommates, you know, they fall out and then they go viral, and that's not something that we would like for our students to be involved in once they graduate.
Right. They can get out of hand.
Yep, it can get really out of hand.
Right. All right, Ms. Rosser, well, thank you so much. Unless anyone else has anything to add or to ask, we just like to say thank you again. And we appreciate your long-standing dedication to student support services, and we look forward to many more workshops with you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. It's always a pleasure to work with you and your team.
I wanted to say something.
Yes.
Angela, you know I gotta say something.
Oh, well, listen, go ahead on and say it.
And I'm not gonna show my face, Ms. Rosser. I know you like to see my beautiful face, but I don't want to show it today.
I understand.
I really appreciate. I have been to 2 of these anxiety, maybe more, but I know I've been to at least 2. And this one, I like your little Bitmoji too. This one was a little more informative. I'm gonna say more. What word I want to use? I don't want to say like it's better than the other ones. It was something new and fresh. I'll say that. And I was like, oh, I gotta go to another test anxiety. But because my test anxiety has it has been is minimal now because of this workshop as well as other tools that I use. But I was like, let me just go because I gotta get my 2 my 2 workshops in. But I was really surprised. I was like, wow. And they always say you can always learn something new. And I really took some different notes. When you said the stress is a negative stress. I never heard that before.
Yeah, just stress.
The stinking thinking, just a lot of things you said about that I didn't know. Don't talk to another student before the test. And I'm like, what? Because I'm always like talking to people before the test. But yeah, it was a lot of points that you brought out. And the title was different, Taming Test Anxiety. So that was a little different. It was just really, it was really good. And although my anxiety is minimum, I still have it. It doesn't really, for me, it doesn't really go away. It just does, it's not as what's the word? It's almost like it's been arrested. It's not cured, but it's arrested. I'll use that. But yeah, I like just everything you said. It was really like Mr. Hardy said, you kind of like checked all the boxes. There's something else I wanted to bring out.
I'm glad you brought up about the student thing too, because sometimes you gotta look at people have changed, and sometimes people have a more competitive approach to school. And if you're talking to other people about how you may be unsure, some people may feed into that.
Right.
And you know what? And create all this anxiety where they're over there hoping that you don't do well, okay? And projecting all of their insecurities and stuff on you. And
exactly.
And so I'm glad you brought that out, because that has happened to me where someone was trying to talk me into not doing well, and I had to go somewhere and sit down and say, you know what, I can't talk to them about the test because they were trying to convince me to worry, and I can't worry because I just can't do that. So just be careful about that. Just
Another thing you said about that stress anxiety can lead to panic attacks. I didn't know that either. That was I really was glad you told me that, because that's something that I probably experienced and didn't know that I was experiencing that. And I just I'm looking at it now. It's like you said, if I've done all the work I need to do to prepare, and I've studied, and okay, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and I don't have to will overthink it. Be
especially for those tests that you have to pay for. If you kicked out like $200 or $300,
right?
You see what I'm saying? Those certification tests, and you're sitting in there, and it's like, oh my God, I cannot. This was my last $500. I have to pass this test, and your mind can kind of go, and you just not look at all those things and just be prepared.
You want to eliminate everything you can eliminate as a distraction,
exactly,
or as you not being prepared for the test. And that way you'll be in the best place to to mitigate that anxiety.
And that breathing, it's a lot of things I do before the test. That breathing, even during the test, and I'm like, I don't care who look in the classroom, I be praying. One time my teacher was looking, I was like, yeah, I'm praying.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, I gotta do whatever I have to do so that I can be, you know, put my best foot forward. And like you, a lot of things you said, especially not looking at the students and not allowing them to distract, turning the papers, all of that, girl, all of that. I just really am learning not to do that. And the study tools that you pointed out too that I use, the flashcards are really helpful for me, because sometimes when I would write notes, all of the notes on paper is just all scribbled out in my mind when I look at the papers. But the flashcards really help, because it's like you keep it real simple and have like maybe one word on front, maybe a few notes on the back. And just, you know, because I was like writing the whole book. I was like, no, that's you're doing too much. You don't have to write the whole book, just key points, things that you could kind of remember, and one word might trigger something else. But yeah, this is really really good. So I'm glad I did come and not you know, think I didn't need to be here.
Well,
I'm going to send you a copy of this PowerPoint slide to Mr. Hardy.
Yes, thank you.
And you know, we can
share it. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And one last thing, two last things. One is in the Ms. Sledge has put the sign-in sheet in the chat. So please go in and complete that. And then number two, I'm glad you brought that up, Ms. Jones, because one thing I did want to say before we got off of here was that you have to learn how you study best, or what works best for you, because you know those cars may work best for you, or you know maybe it's getting in a group, study group, and having a conversation that makes it sink in, or maybe it's like you say, writing the notes down, which didn't work for you may work for someone else. So that's a personal observation for me. I had to learn what works for me, with studying, and because you can't. It's not a one fit thing. It's not a cookie cutter type of thing. Everybody's different, So I'm glad you said that. But overall, thank you, Ms. Rosser. Thank you, SSS team, and thank you, students, for attending. Hope you got something out of it. I will be let this kind of rip down, and then hopefully, and Ms. Rosser, if there's any of these that you want to like, you just want them because as part of your portfolio, I'll share them with you. I had one last week that I was trying to share with the team, and I had some issues, so I'm gonna try to see, can I fix that. I don't know what the problem is, but I will be working on that this week. Okay.
Mr. Hardy, Ms. Ross, did you say you was going to give it to Mr. Hardy, or the students going to get a copy of that PowerPoint?
I can email you a copy too. I was going to send it to Mr. Hardy, since this was his event, but I can definitely send you a copy of it too if you prefer that.
Whichever. Mr. Hardy can send it whoever. I just would like to have a copy of it.
Yeah, just Miss Ross will just include you, that'd be fine, and Evan if you want.
Thank you.
And then we'll get it out and put it out to our caseloads.
Evan Taylor.
Okay.
Thank you so much, y'all. This has been awesome, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you this semester, and semester after that, and semester after that.
I think it was a great kickoff to the year.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Y'all have a great day.
You do the
Thank
same.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.